Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Okay, Talk and Power podcast episode 118. I am Nick DiCembria. I'm joined by Simon Gonzo Travellini and Todd Brinkworth over there. But we're back in the studio, back together. After it's been a few. I'm trying to remember when we were all together last.
It's been a while.
I don't know. I feel like saying I'm back.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Was it the Paul Blank interview?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think it
That
was.
was 5 episodes ago.
Wow.
You know what? Speaking of interviews, I've forgotten his name now. How embarrassing. DJ?
Carl Cox.
Carl Cox. My apologies, Carl. I watched a documentary series on Viceland, and I forget what it was called, but it was basically about nightclubs, and you know, he was instrumental. They went to Ibiza, and he was instrumental in this particular episode that I watched, and they were going to interview him for a second time after. So they'd been out partying. He was DJing. Awesome. Looked absolutely amazing. Right. Would have loved to have gone there when it was around. Anyway, so the interviewer is kicking off the interview, and he didn't look too good. They had to stop because he went off and followed. And that was it. That was he couldn't. You know, obviously they were on a tight schedule. They had to fly back to wherever, America, wherever it was. But Carl was so cool about it. He was kind of like looking across and then having a bit of a giggle. I just thought, you know, for a show that's so big and so well known internationally, you know, and for the interviewer to do that, I'm surprised he still has a job in television. Or maybe he doesn't.
Well, I must admit, you know, speaking of Carl Cox, I had so many people after that interview come up to me and say, "Hey, I never knew Carl Cox was a drag racer." And you know what I said to him? I never knew he was a DJ.
Yeah.
That's right. We all knew he was a drag racer.
Do you know how many people, like good friends of mine, had no idea that he was a drag racer and had no idea that we were interviewing him? They thought Carl Cox, and they said, "Oh, listen to this. I wonder who this Carl Cox is. Couldn't be the DJ, surely." And then how surprised they were to know that he was the
top bloke. Hey, I'd love to get him back on the show. It'd be great to get him over to the Motorplex to run any one of those amazing cars that he has.
Yeah, or he might be listening, so shout out to Carl or his compadre, Ian.
I hope he's not, because I'm a little bit embarrassed.
No,
Just
he's
had a
alright.
mental blank then.
He's back in the UK, actually. He went back early. He was supposed to go back in, after Christmas.
Well, you wouldn't want to be in New South Wales or Victoria.
Yeah, he actually got out just in time, and he's played some really packed sets over in Liverpool in the UK.
Oh, man.
But also there's some photos of him. He went drag racing. He was happy. He went to
Santa Pod.
Yeah, Santa Pod.
Yeah.
And got some drag racing in amongst being a DJ.
So has he got a car over there?
Probably
100%.
100%.
Probably have cars everywhere.
Again, if you're listening, Carl, you're actually a hard man to follow. You've got like 5 different Facebook groups and some other things. And between Brendan, because race car and I, we follow them, and we're always sending each other links. Have you seen this bit? No. Have you seen this bit? And
busy man.
You have to make time to follow him.
Lamborghini's been busy too, Nick.
they kept this one under wraps. How's this?
Yeah.
The Lamborghini Countach is back. And 112 units they are selling. And did you guys catch this? It was released at Pebble Beach, Monterey Car Week, as part of Monterey, the Historics, the Rolex Historics. I was really impressed. So they're gone hybrid with this model, 6.5 litre V12, 48 volt electric motor.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong now, that would make it a LP 650 hybrid.
Yes.
Yes,
correct.
Is it going to have a badge resembling? And is the badge going to glow blue?
Don't know, but it does. Only 112 of these LPI, actually. They're gone LPI. LPI 800.
LPI or LP1?
I think it was LPI, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that might be a misprint on my behalf there.
Because your notes say LP1. But
Yeah,
anyway,
they do.
we're not going to hold that against
Yeah.
you, Nick.
So, isn't like it brought back memories for me? Like, the Lamborghini Countach, probably the quintessential
Pin-up car.
Yeah, the pin-up car.
Yeah.
I've got
No
posters
ifs,
of it.
no buts.
Yeah. Changed the way we thought about cars back in the 80s. And really, I think Cannonball Run had a lot to do with that
You
as
beat
well.
me to it. Have you actually seen the promo ad for the new car? It's very Cannonball Run-esque. Like, there's the old Countach going down the highway, and they do a bit of an overlay, and then they swap to the new car, and in my head, I could hear the Cannonball music. They weren't playing it, but I could just hear the Cannonball.
What do you do when there are no words?
Yeah, that's all I can hear in my head. So do yourself a favour and go watch the YouTube promo or ad, because, yeah, you'll hear the Cannonball theme in your head for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it is... what did you think of the car
Jackie
itself?
Chan's American debut too, I believe.
I think
Yeah,
it was. It was, yeah. Yep.
In a Scorpion or a Starion. I can't remember. Either
No,
one.
in the first one, number one, it was actually Subaru.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Sorry. Yeah, the Leone.
You of all people.
Yeah, I know.
You of all people.
No, sorry. You're right. It was Leone. Anyway.
Leone in number one, and in number two was a Starion.
Yeah.
No.
We get sidetracked again. I don't mind it, but I don't know. It looks... I don't know. I want to see when I'm close.
There's still too much Aventador about it. They've
Yeah.
really got to break away from the Aventador. Nothing wrong with the Aventador, but I think that the Countach needed its own DNA, and I think there's a lot of Aventador that's hanging over in the Countach.
Yeah.
There's only 112.
So what you're saying is just like Gone in 60 Seconds. The original
Yes.
was better than the remake. Is that's the vibe I'm getting here?
As a person that I've actually been in a Countach.
Have you really?
Yeah, there's a couple in Perth.
You were younger and fitter back then.
Yeah, you have to be a gymnast to get into one, right? I wouldn't own one. Like, happy to see one, happy to sit in one, but they are
this is
very
the
complicated.
original
car.
Countach?
Yeah, the original Countach. And I know a lot of people that say the same thing. They wouldn't really own one, but
Did this one have the wing on the front? Did that put the wing on the front on this one?
on the new one,
No, on
This is
the
the-
one.
no, it wasn't. It was
the separate wing.
Yeah,
God, that was disgustingly
It was.
ugly, wasn't it?
yeah,
it's terrible.
but it was keep the car from flipping over at high speed.
The original had no flares, the LP400, which is
Yeah.
a 4-litre naturally aspirated. I think that the version with the flares did look a lot better,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
you know. But, yeah, anyway, moving on.
Amazing car.
Monterey Car Week.
Monterey Car Week.
You mentioned
I
Monterey Car
led into this. It was Monterey Car Week, and 1,000 cars. They auctioned. They went 1,000 cars.
More than.
Yeah,
More
more
than-
than sorry,
more than
over
1,000
cars.
cars.
$400 million to go under the hammer. Oh, look, I just picked out a couple here that caught my eye. The McLaren F1. I don't know. Do you like McLaren F1s?
Love them, Nick.
Oh, okay.
Love them.
yeah, love them.
Absolute best supercar ever built and always ever will be. No electronic crap, right? The driver drives it. He drives it in the middle. 3-seater, original concept. Ross Brawn come up with that, didn't he?
No, it was Gordon.
Gordon, sorry.
Yeah.
My
Murray,
apologies.
no,
Gordon Murray.
Gordon Murray, yeah. Yep.
I knew it was someone important in Formula 1.
Yeah,
Brilliant car, and I don't think anyone will ever match it. Yes, we've seen performances and higher horsepower, and I don't know if we've seen lighter weight in a car of that caliber, but that is a driver's car. 2-wheel drive, doesn't have all this crap where, you know, you turn a knob and put it in this mode and that mode, and
I don't
you know,
like the rims, but the rims were always disappointing
all
for
the
me.
things that it
yeah. I'm about to say you don't look at that car for the rims, okay?
But don't you think it would have been a much nicer car if it had better rims on it? The rims just not.
What, some Simmons B45s?
Yeah.
Even
some
them,
some
that would have
earbuds.
been better.
Yeah, bud.
What about the teddy bears? What
Yeah. Some love hearts.
Bears.
Well, a big solid one spoke. You know?
No.
Anyway,
not-
the
not
thing
mine.
here, though, is 20.5 million. How much did Mr. Bean's one go for? That's the most recent
Hey,
one that sold.
Which one?
Yeah.
His second, his third, or his fourth one?
I didn't know.
I don't think he had that many, did he?
No, well, I might be exaggerating. I'm sure he's had at least 2 or 3.
I thought it went for 14.5.
Yeah, it could well.
But see, I don't think they're worth that much money, though.
They are in this market. Yeah.
How can you say that?
100%, Todd.
They only
day.
made so many of them.
Okay. Maybe
It's like Earth, right?
Yeah.
Invest in Earth.
What, in iron ore?
They stopped making it a long time ago. No, I mean land.
Yeah, I know.
They
Yeah.
stopped making it a long time ago. You can't get any more of it unless you're China.
But what about?
Or no, we won't start that political nightmare tonight.
No, just because they made those islands. There were no islands there, and then
I
they
thought we were
made
going to go the whole Taiwan thing, but anyway.
Hey, but my favourite car, my favourite, that Porsche 917K, that is one of the most. I love those cars. I know you don't like them, but I absolutely.
the 930 is 91730 is always going to be the one for me. But listen, forget about the Porsche, right? Because number one, it's a Porsche. The 1959 Ferrari 250 GTO California long wheelbase Spider Competizione. Your opportunity to own a genuine piece of Ferris Bueller history.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a bargain at 13.6 million. If
was
I
a-
had
that
the
is
money, I'd buy two.
That
Yeah.
was a beautiful car. I don't know if you saw a picture of that. It was absolutely magnificent. That the example that they were selling there was absolutely gorgeous.
On this list, the one that I think is overpriced is the 66 Ford GT40 Alan Mann lightweight.
Yeah, I didn't think much. That's well
Because,
overpriced.
did it win?
No.
So did Alan Mann, did his idea work?
No, I don't think so. I think the catch on that one there is the fact that it's not a Shelby. It's an Alan Mann one instead. British. I don't know, but to me that one didn't win. It raced at Le Mans, but it didn't win anything.
And the Mark 1 was a POS. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Carroll came along and Americanized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting to see Monterey Car Week. Car auctions are huge. This is where the world's at now. This is what we spoke with James some time ago. I can't remember when it was, but we spoke with James. We spoke with Paul Blank sitting right there about car auctions too, and where they're heading, especially the online version. Speaking of Shannon's, they got one coming up in springtime, and we touched on it a couple of episodes ago. They have added some beautiful cars to that list. We'll talk about that getting closer.
I wonder if I can add a XY to
You should. You should.
roll the dice out there and see what I can get for her. Anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, I was really impressed by that Porsche 917K. And that was actually featured in the Steve McQueen movie of Le Mans. So
Was it one of the team cars that he was driving?
Yeah, it was one of the JW Automotive engineering cars in 1970, yes.
He was in the...
I don't think he was in this car, no. But
No,
he was
but-
in the... They used this for
Was he in
his
the
movie.
Martini team?
I think so, yes. Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyway... Look,
Distinctive look, the Martini cars.
Oh, yeah. And even the Golf livery cars as well.
Yeah,
they have that.
definitely.
Yeah.
The GT40s in the Golf livery,
Yeah.
yeah. And the 1730.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how much is that Golf livery worth now? Like, do you see people painting their buildings and places of business in the similar colour scheme and the similar
They're
look?
still going, sure.
Yeah. But it's just
Are
when
they
you
working on lithium now? Is that the future for
Dunno.
golf?
I was about to say, it's one of the few things I can picture that livery in my head. Like,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
picture it, the colour,
And the Martini.
Yeah. Like,
Repsol would be another one.
yeah, oh, yeah, for
Repsol,
sure.
yeah,
Repsol.
definitely, yeah.
Usually lying on its side these days, sliding off the track. It's the way we see the Repsol.
Yeah, hey,
livery.
look.
I mean, you think about in the history of automobile racing, some of the most famous liveries.
Yep.
Formula
You can't say
1,
that on radio, Nick. You're going to have to bleep that out.
The cigarette
You
manufacturer.
will have to bleep that out. I'm
Yeah,
telling you now.
you will.
You'll end up with a one show suspension.
You know the one I'm
Trying
talking.
to stuff them. He's a producer. I don't know.
So I'm talking about if for those that didn't hear me, what I said, the manufacturer of tobacco cigarettes from the 70s.
Yeah.
They're Formula 1 cars, the McLaren cars.
Even their
Yeah.
touring cars, any
Yeah.
they had and that's the trick, I think, is to have universal livery across the spectrum. Castrol, enjoyed a long time with the red, white, and green. Where everything, sprint cars, motorbikes, MotoGP, they all had it. There has been other tobacco companies that I won't say the names because we'll have to bleep them out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
was
one that I can think of in the blue.
Oh, yeah.
that was on Falcons.
Started with R. And then ended with Mins.
No, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I thought
That's right. They were, yes.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
thought he was referring to Jack Peterson. That one.
Yeah, so did I. Hey, no, well done.
Since 1984, the All Ford Day has been one of Perth's most celebrated car shows, bringing enthusiasts of the Blue Oval together to celebrate the Ford Motor Company.
The All 4 Day is coming October 3rd, 2021 at Steel Blue Oval, Bassendean. Opening to the public from 9:30am.
Adults are $10, children under 15 are $5, and a family pass for 2 adults and 2 children is $20. Head to afd.asn.au for more information.
Top Fuel is back, baby. Top Fuel is back. We are happy to report, promoted by Andy Lopez from out. So Andy Lopez, those that don't know, man behind Summernats, man behind Motivation, man behind a number of car shows, Motor X as well these days.
You know, I know that the Reeds have signed a great sponsorship deal. Mm-hmm. So effectively, they could possibly be self-funded also. But some of the small teams, you know, I don't know whether they could go, because the things are expensive to run. I mean, realistically, when I investigated running fuel, we had calculated, and this is probably 10 years ago now. It would be 10 years ago. It was going to cost about $14,000 per lap. Right, so do the maths on that. If you've got 3 laps per day over 2 days, 6 laps, that's a lot of money. It's way out of my league. Yeah. 1 lap is out of my league. You know what I mean? So I reckon now, with the way the dollar is, and you know the fact that because of Biden, let's just let's call it what it is.
Hashtag that one.
Yeah.
Everything's become so ridiculously expensive in America. They've got hyperinflation, and it's just stupidly expensive. And we live in a country where, you know, our exchange rate's not that good at the moment, and it has to get here. Freight's expensive now, so it probably would work out about $20,000 a run, which means that to do 6 passes per car, it's going to cost the guy running the car $120,000. Even the measly $60,000 that they were asking for is, you know,
it doesn't go.
And if you run an all-run format,
it's all run as well.
Then you know that's $120,000. So I don't know. I mean, if I was doing, I'll probably only do 1 qualifier on the first day. And then see if I had enough parts left to do 1 lap on the second day.
But look, I mean, regardless, hopefully we can get a couple of these events underway. It's great news for the sport. A couple of these are under the Andra banner as well. So the Western Nationals will be under the Andra banner. And I believe also the Australian Nationals at Calder Park will be under the Andra banner as well. So it's great to see.
Yeah, don't be surprised if Sydney's under the Andra banner soon.
Ooh.
And Heathcote's interesting. So Heathcote's up to Top Fuel standard now, yeah?
I didn't think it was, but clearly it must be. That's news to me as well, unless they're going only to 8th mile there.
So 60 foot.
So, turn the car on, turn it off again, pretty much.
It'll sound like this.
Yeah, that's it. Give the tyres a shake, game over, see you later. You know. Best 3 seconds of your life.
So the track is a good track. Guys.
It is a great track.
It's an awesome track.
Oh, yeah, nothing against Heathcote, yeah.
And the field down there is good, but there's a few issues with it, which anyone that's raced on it will tell you. The first one is, and they're working on it.
Yeah.
I have spoken to some people involved in it. They're growing grass, right? So the first issue is the dust. Because once the dust gets on the track, then, you know... it's no good. And the second issue is, which they may have done this already, the upgrades of the walls that they require. So, look, if they get, you know, if it's up to standard, and then, you know, I mean, the more rounds, the better, eh?
Yeah.
No one's going to, especially not me,
Anyway, regardless of that, it's great to see Top Fuel back. We're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to them coming to WA at the very least on the 5th and 6th of March, which will augur in with the Western Nationals. Todd, what are we looking at there in terms of Albany? Is that...
Well,
there'll
be Targa. There'll be no race wars.
So no race wars. But race wars is looking at a July date still?
I do not know.
Okay.
I reached out to Mr. Buckets.
Jonathan Murray.
Sorry.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan. He's right, you're listening. Sorry, Jonathan. Who's currently holidaying in the US.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was easier for him to go to the US than it was to come home to Australia.
Yeah, of course.
And he's having a grand old time in the US. Good on him. So when we get a chance to talk to Mr. Jonathan, we will find out what's happening with race wars.
So is Andy Lopez running race
That's
wars?
The rumour.
As the rumour is... Well, maybe you should contact him.
Yeah, but it would just... we're going to try
and you know what? There's a good chance there won't be a clash now.
Yeah. No, race wars is not the same weekend as the Western Nationals.
You were alluding to that, Nick.
But Targa West is still going to go ahead on that day.
The Targa Albany Sprint, I believe, will be on that weekend still.
Okay.
And that is now... Well, that long weekend,
event.
is the home of the Targa Albany Sprint for that long weekend.
Yep, okay. Right.
Yep.
No, just asking, just checking for a friend.
What, me or you?
I was just checking. Hey, we'll leave that one to last. That story there. Valentino Rossi. You'll leave that because it's not. I don't think it's very interesting.
I thought it was.
Okay. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Did you want to break it or what?
No, we'll that's okay. Don't worry about the breaks. This is okay.
We're just playing through.
Edit that out.
Yeah.
I'll give you a chance now. We can do a big.
He'll just say one bit, right, and then just repeat it over and over.
Yeah.
Splice it in there.
We haven't done the Valley Comes Alive yet or anything,
The Valley anyway.
Hello to everyone on 88.5 FM.
Everyone on there is in all the all the DJs or the people who are listening,
or everyone, all the above, all and sundries.
Yeah.
Hey, this was an interesting story I came across, and in Brazil they have an interesting way of purchasing your next Toyota Hilux. They're actually trading in corn and soy. Can you believe that?
I'm curious, right, whether Toyota is thinking about implementing a scheme like that for Nimbin or Margaret River. Byron Bay, maybe even.
Did you find that? I found that really interesting that you can. So the scheme is called Toyota Barter. It's been operating since 2019, with the Brazilian banks tightening borrowing requirements and high inflation there. The demand for the trade vehicles has skyrocketed, but now they can pay for it in corn and soy, which is interesting.
Well, it's
a commodity, I guess.
It's a commodity, yeah.
It's just not something that.
So does that mean we could possibly, see if Gina and Andrew want to do a deal with tons of iron ore?
Or cows, cattle.
Toyota could probably use the iron ore.
Yeah, of course they do.
And hey, you work in the farming sector as your day job, Nick. There's a fair bit of not corn, but there's ethanol grown over here.
There's a lot of corn.
Yeah,
sweet corn and maize as well in Western Australia.
Yeah.
Yep.
The end of the road, the veil for the veil.
Now, what did you think? I mean, we weren't surprised, I guess, but we were kind of. I mean, yeah, I thought he might.
Mate, I've got to tell you what. After last night, I thought he was going to get on the podium.
I know. Yeah,
He was so close.
I just thought it was interesting that he sort of announced it halfway through the year. I'm not sure what that was all about.
Oh, what happened? So you haven't seen the interview then?
No.
Okay, so basically what happened was during his break, he said that he started questioning things and asking himself a lot of questions, and he just felt that he wasn't he loves the sport. He will always race. He'll just switch now from 4 wheels to 2 wheels, which I thought was pretty funny. I'm sure he insulted a lot of people saying that. But nonetheless, He just felt that the time had come. He wasn't. He has always been at the top tier, at the top of the top tier, and he's just doesn't feel that he can do it anymore. He will still be in the paddock all the time, running the VR46 racing team, and there is a rumour that they will be fielding a MotoGP or two possibly MotoGP Ducatis. Right, it has not been confirmed yet, and there's a lot of speculation that you might end up seeing Rossi occasionally jump on one of those bikes and doing a lap. But once again, that's just rumours at this stage. He has done a lot for the sport. There's no doubt about it. He's definitely the winningest guy in terms of the time that he's raced, etc. At the end of the day, the all-time record is still held by, in terms of world championships, I've forgotten his name now. Agostino.
Yeah.
Giacomo Agostini. He's had a massive impact. But, every time people say that, I think to myself, yeah, but the guy who had the biggest impact was Barry Sheene.
Yes.
Barry Sheene was the one that introduced me. I watched all of Valentino's career from start to finish, but, definitely Barry Sheene was the... I think the difference was that Rossi suits this era.
Yeah.
Barry Sheene was very flamboyant, known as, getting smashed, drunk and womanising, etc., etc.
He was the James Hunt on two wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent.
Actually, those two were mates apparently back in the days.
Probably
they
were.
used to go out and get pretty thin skinned together, and then go. One would go race F1, the other would go race motorbikes the day after.
Valentino was just a child when he started, and he didn't bring any of that with him. What he brought with him was a lot of innocence and a lot of skill and a larrikin nature.
Yeah.
He never tried to look like anyone. The marketing stuff just kind of happened naturally for him. Some of the stunts that they pulled, were just unbelievable. And you know what? He pulled them all off, because the last few years, we've just seen so many guys try to do these over-the-top stunts and completely stuff them up.
Yeah.
Like the golf ball incident.
Oh, God, that was terrible.
It was shocking.
Jeez. Yeah, I know that. I know what you're talking about. I think Valentino certainly brought the Italian flair to the sport, but he had his own...
But he was always, and still to this day... Like, you think of all the MotoGP riders that we've seen in the time that we've been following the sport, and they've all had a bad side to them. You never saw that with Valentino, and that's why he's got a legion of fans. So it'll be sad, but I'm sure that he'll be there in the background. I'm sure that they'll still interview him from time to time, and I'm sure that he'll, never ever be forgotten.
Hey, one thing that caught my eye that's been percolating along for some time now, the RPM Act. The RPM Act is recognising the protection of motorsports. It's an act that's been brought out by, I think...
What you're trying to say is the fact that Biden is loaded up the EPA so hard that the RPM Act is not actually being recognised.
I think the more we say, but we're going to get complaints about Joe Biden. A lot of people like Joe Biden. I'm not swayed one way or another. I don't dislike the man. But anyway,
but hang on a second, right? No. It's important that we discuss this, because I'm not saying that he's a bad guy or anything like that. The thing is, though, aside from strengthening the EPA, which he has done in leaps and bounds, most of the policies that he's enacting were all Trump policies anyway.
Let's briefly explain the RPM Act for those listeners that might not be aware of it. So the EPA in the United States are basically banning the use of your motor vehicle to be used in a motorsport event of any description.
Well, that's not really what the EPA is doing. So we assume in this country that if the vehicle is not registered for the road, we can modify it, right? Now, whether that is a correct assumption or not, I don't know, and that really is something that, we would have to discuss with the relevant parties, because I'm not even sure if there's legislation on that.
I don't believe so.
But
no.
the EPA assumes in America that if the vehicle leaves the factory with emissions equipment, catalytic converters, the carbon canister, or some method of pulling the gas back into the engine like they do on the late model cars, then it is required, and same with the tune, it's particulates output, which they use a machine in some places that is a rolling road dyno, and it measures this. This is actually common in Europe, and it measures the emissions, and it needs to pass that. We use a 5 gas here, which is not as accurate as the system. IM 140, I think it's called, the actual system. So the EPA makes the assumption that if the vehicle left the factory like that, then regardless of what you're using it for, whether you're using it for motorsport or whatever, it has to remain exactly the way the factory has built it. And what they're doing is they're going to workshops and confiscating laptops, taking all the information from their desktop computers, treating the workshop employees and owners like criminals, literally, sometimes holding them at gunpoint while they do this.
They have been, yeah. Armed police, tactical response have been going into workshops and arresting people quite, yeah.
They've been doing full, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, basically sting operations.
Yeah.
Where they buy something from somebody, and a lot of the smart tuners, again, I watch a fair few people on YouTube, they go, my product is for drag racing, drifting.
That's not flying anymore.
Yeah.
That doesn't all.
But apparently what they do is they buy one online, like, you do your mail order, and then the EPA gets the product, and then goes, oh, cool. And then rocks up 2 days later and goes, I bought this off you, and raids the entire place, and takes...
Yeah, we're hearing about stories of fines of $400 million and all this. And the other story that I heard is the EPA going to the NHRA events and confiscating cars or fining people for altering the emission systems or the tune on the vehicle, which is altering the emissions output of the vehicle. So, look, it's shocking, but this is, ultimately, I can see this. The car has been blamed for the global, we can't call it global warming anymore, for climate change. The car has been blamed. It is like suspect number one, So I don't know. I mean, it's a sad day, but you guys know that I've been saying that this is going to happen, and don't be surprised if it happens in this country. It's
coming to this country, and we need to be ready for it.
No, I don't. I disagree. I disagree, because just like the Republicans in America, they have a different outlook. So right now, most of the manufacturers that build high performance equipment are moving to Texas, right? And it's because different governance. Basically, more protection for businesses,
In saying all this, we understand that 96 members of Congress have signed that they will be supporting the RPM Act. So they don't meet again till the 20th of September, Congress, and they hope to get the RPM Act up, and that'll be protecting against the EPA. So things are hopeful. I'm not sure
how
if 96,
many members?
535.
Yeah. So 96 is not going to beat 535.
That's there's still a bit of work to do, but as I said, they don't meet until the 20th of September. But there's still a bit of work to do there, isn't there?
Mate, at the end of the day, the auto industry, no matter how big it is, right, it is considered, just a bad thing. That's just the way it is. And in this country, when the 500,000 odd people become unemployed, it won't be like other industries where they will offer something to them. All we can do as people that want to continue doing this, and like I said, let's think about this. We're talking about 10% with all the cars. So forget, you look at the enthusiasts, you're talking about 0.01% of 0.9% of a global problem. It's just insignificant. So anyway, the burn down, Nick.
The burn down. Is the burn down dead? And my answer would be no.
The burn down will never die, but
can you explain? So I'll just explain what the burn down is, and then you explain the mentality. So the burn down is when two cars in a drag racing situation, both of them may go into pre-stage. So the first light comes up, and then the second car might do that as well.
No, he's got no choice.
He has to go. He has to bring up the beam, but then they don't go into full stage. So then it just becomes a waiting game of who goes in first. Can you explain the mentality of why?
Well, there's a lot of things going on, right? So we generally try and do the same routine every run. Do the burnout, X amount of, distance, time, RPM, etc. Reverse back in the same manner and get the car ready on the start line, because we want to have everything on the car temperature-wise where we need it to be, okay? Now, there are a lot of things going on here, okay? So, first of all, the amount of fuel that's in the tank, right? Most cars will only run just enough to make it to the end of the track. Part of that is, getting the car on weight, minimum weight. The fuel is a dynamic thing because the level's going down as you're going down the track. In pro stock, it's not as dramatic as, say, top fuel, where they'll burn through 60, 80 litres of fuel, in that short period of time. The temperature of the engine is something it doesn't matter if it's pro stock or top alcohol, top fuel. That is something that's changing. And as it gets hotter, the motor's going to react differently. Pro stock cars are run on petrol. They generally run a very small radiator. They are prone to getting hot quick. The air gap on the clutch is another thing. Like if it's not an automatic car, that gap will be closing up. The hotter the engine gets, the hotter the clutch gets. If the driver's got his foot on the clutch and he's got it in first gear, it will get so hot that it will start to drag the car forward, even if he
clutches all the way in.
Yeah, that's right. Then you've got the whole mental game. So the idea of the burn down is to try and apart from the possibility of changing all these mechanical aspects that will affect the way the car goes down the track, but trying to psych out the other driver. If you slide in, the tree comes down, and you're just focused on your lane, you potentially could cut a better light than if the other guy looks across. So it's a technique that's been used here for a long time, particularly in the Group 3 and particularly in the radial class, where they will wait to hear the other competitor get off the two-step, because turbo cars need a little bit of time to build boost. But to be honest with you, I've seen people that instigate the burn down make the mistake, because sometimes the guy doesn't need time to get on boost. You know what I mean? So So it is a thing. In pro stock, it was big. It's always great to see it because it kind of it makes you think that, you know, these guys are hungry for it. You know what I mean? They're going that extra yard.
Yeah.
But apparently between Bruno Mansell, that many of us know from Garage Squad, and Mason McGahey.
Chris McGahey's son.
Yep. They were shut down by the NHRA.
Yeah, Brett Hardy shut them down. Now, that was a 3-minute burn.
Yeah,
down.
that's ridiculous. I'm surprised the engines were still running.
So Brad's philosophy why he shut them down was because he felt that if he had let them go, if they did go into stage after that period of time, something was going to go wrong. There was going to be fluid on the track, whatever. So he shut them down 3 minutes. That is a long time.
Yeah.
Both drivers were disappointed with that, with the starter shutting down the race. They felt it's their race and they can take as long as they want to get in there. But at the end of the day, the starter has... If the starter deems that the cars aren't safe to go down the track, he can shut them down.
And on that note, if it was a top fuel car, that probably would have exploded well and truly if not run out of fuel, right? Nitro's a strange fuel. It just gets hotter with alcohol. You could put the car into, well, not neutral because most top alcohol cars are manual and they don't have a neutral. But you can give the motor a few revs and generally pull a little bit of cylinder head temp out of it. Nitro doesn't work like that. Then you've got the next thing. So a top alcohol car or a door slammer, for example. You know, like I said, you've got the clutch. If it's a converter car, the converter's getting hot, the gearbox is getting hot. You've also got the fact that we generally carry 30-odd litres of fuel right out the front of the car. And regardless of whether you've got enough to make it to the end of the track, when you take off, you've just lost, 10 pounds, 20 pounds of ballast over the nose.
Yeah.
So there is a good chance that, you're going to be looking at the night sky or day sky, whichever. The moons or the sun, or whatever.
This was during the day, so it was really interesting to see this happen. But it's great to see the burnout is still alive, and I think 3 minutes was taking the P155.
Yeah, that would have been like a lifetime. I don't know how,
Yeah, 3 minutes. I wouldn't want to be doing it at the Western Nationals on a 40-degree day. That's for sure. I'd pass out, I reckon.
Oh yeah, you pop the blower plate. Burst plate or something, you'd be gone, or the car would just literally...
You'd be surprised how long you can run them. It's just the volume of fuel that you'd use.
Yeah.
If you're on your game, you'd be looking at the EGTs, and some guys actually have lean out, reaching out up switches in the car,
okay,
so they can actually do that. But yeah, generally, I mean, it depends on your fuel system. It really depends on your fuel system.
Yeah.
Some have got a transition where they go rich. Some have got a transition where they don't. They don't go lean, but they don't go rich enough to pull temperature out. But nitro, you couldn't do it. You go even 30 seconds and it'd be nasty. Since 1984, the All Ford Day has been one of Perth's most celebrated car shows, bringing enthusiasts of the Blue Oval together to celebrate the Ford Motor Company.
The All Ford Day is coming October 3rd, 2021 at Steel Blue Oval, Bassendean. Opening to the public from 9:30am.
Adults are $10, children under 15 are $5, and a family pass for 2 adults and 2 children is $20. Head to afd.asn.au for more information. Zap, leading the points now. Gregorini right behind him. So win a piece.
Yep.
Gregorini's speed record now, I believe.
Yep, in Darwin.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's awesome. I think the championship it's gone off to a good start.
Do you think these two are going to be the ones tussling it out?
Yeah,
or?
definitely, 100%. Yeah. Yep. Oh, mind you, I should say that with more respect to Kelvin Lyle.
Kelvin
as well.
Lyle.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. My apologies.
It's a
I
big
think Kelvin
checkbook
Lyle,
you just threw out the window.
Nah, Kelvin Lyle is certainly in it as well. I think he was a bit unlucky in
Marty Dack. rumours of a return with
Oh,
a new
really?
driver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His
yeah.
son?
No.
No?
A girl.
Is it a relation of his,
Nope.
or can you say more?
Nope.
Okay, all right.
Unconfirmed at this stage.
Unconfirmed. Righto.
Unconfirmed. On that note, Formula W.
Mm-hmm.
Why have women got their own formula? Let's look at drag racing. From its inception, we have had female champions right through, and you know, they have proven to be better drivers than men.
Yeah.
So why would you start a Formula W? The money that they have spent to do this, wouldn't it have been smarter to just sponsor some women in Formula 2 or Formula 3 or potentially even Formula 1? Because in drag racing, I mean, right now, Erica Enders, she's been dominating.
Yeah.
You know, we've had the Force girls. They dominated. You go back, Shirley Muldowney. In Australia, I mean, we've had 2 Top Fuel champions, you know?
Yep.
We've had an Australian woman racing Top Fuel in America. You know, if these CEOs want to do something about embracing equality and destroying sexism, what you need to do is sponsor drag racing. You need to pump all your money into drag racing, because to this day, no one supports, none of these companies, not one of them supports the women that are in drag racing, which are leading the way to equality. They are showing the world that women can do it not just as good, but better than men.
Yeah. Yep. No, agreed.
I just kicked that soapbox to...
See, I
kicked it away before, but it came back.
Yeah, I
again.
haven't got a word in edgeways tonight. I'm just sitting in the corner just going, yeah, fair enough. I should just go home.
I guess
what
it's
you're
because I
saying.
haven't been on air for so
Yeah, I'll just go
I hear
eat
what
ice
you're
cream at
saying.
home.
Todd, what's happening with you? What's going on in your world?
I'm taking path after Simon. Everything's going. Fire sales going on. All cars going.
All cars
Well,
are going.
maybe not the Evo, but everything else that I've got laying around.
180.
Yep, going.
Even the
On air.
1200.
I've had enough of it. It's
The
going.
510.
I'm seriously considering getting rid of it.
Well, how much?
Someone
do you want
made
for
me a very stupid offer for a shell, and I'm thinking about taking it.
How much do you want for the 510? Just show fingers.
Show of
It's a lot of money for a shell, but it's worth it.
We'll talk about the 180.
No, someone made me a stupid offer.
The Evo going?
No, I said I'll probably keep the Evo for now, but Evo and...
Whereas I think the Evo should go.
No, that's not... Last time after you hassled me out on air about it, we walked out to the car park and you went, I wouldn't sell it either.
Probably keep
Yeah.
the 510.
Yeah, but...
Did I say that?
Yeah,
I
you
wouldn't
did.
sell the Evo.
You said to me you could
No, I
see...
just said that I think you need a dedicated race car. That's what I said.
Well, anyway. But yeah, that's... So...
They're cheaper to run, too.
Cleaning out
to have
shed.
rego.
Actually been cleaning out the shed, selling some bits on good old Facebook, getting rid of bits I don't need, getting people to look at cars, which I hate dealing with people, but hey, you got to when
Yeah, you're not a people person, are you?
No, I'm not. Everyone knows that. Jeez. But getting again, the market's hot, so people are paying stupid amounts of suitcase money. I can't call it what I normally call it, but why not stuff it? Everyone says you can't race a house, but you can't. Well,
Live comfortably in them and have parties.
yeah, and I don't want to sleep in a car, so that's what I'm up to. And amongst that, panel beating, fixing stuff up, panel beating, doing it all myself. Shout out to the Automotive Paint Centre, or that paint place down in Balcatta.
Just down the road.
Yeah,
Just down the road. I know he does listen every now and then, so shout out. He'll probably yell at me for getting the name wrong, because I think I got it slightly wrong, but went there the other day and helped me out wonderfully, like just from a couple of photos, and he goes, I know your skill level, you're going to do this, yep, do this, use this, do that, get out of my shop. Okay, cool, thank you.
See ya.
There you
Yeah,
go.
but again, like helpful as. And it actually is very helpful. If you want it done properly and you want to give it a go have a chat, and very good advice, and we'll sell you the right products. So that's been me at the moment, panel beating.
And yourself, Simon?
I have been flat out, Nick. That's why you haven't seen me.
I saw our friend of the podcast, Rob, Monster Talk,
Oh, yeah.
posted some photos of 4 converters you did for some ZFs. that were going out?
Oh, mate, he has been ridiculously busy, like absolutely ridiculously busy, and obviously, we are too. But I'll put this in perspective for you. Last month, we doubled our best month's turnover.
Oh, wow.
I have been putting in. I was talking to one of my customers on Saturday. So I went in on Saturday, started a couple of transmission jobs, just tear them down, stick them in the hot wash to get ready to start assembling. And I was in there doing some invoicing because I have to try and do that on like a Saturday or a Sunday because I just don't have the time during the day. And from Wednesday morning to Saturday 3:00, I had worked 61 hours.
Wow.
And I worked till 3 a.m. Saturday night. Had Sunday off. But, I mean, look, it's been awesome, absolutely awesome. The converter side is going great guns. We got a new guy, Michael, working with Greg. Greg is over the moon happy, and this guy is just a natural. Took to it unbelievably well. But the transmission side, we did, I think, we did 10 transmissions the week before last, and I've got some chassis jobs that I need to get back onto because the season's fast approaching and I need to get these cars finished. The Tirana's done. I don't know if you've got a little HB. Yep. And the Cortina's done. Yeah, okay. That's off getting pipes made now. So there's the 34 Coupe and the Supra that I want to get done. And I said to the boys, I'm going to clear everything in the trans shop. I'll work day and night, get it all done so I can focus on that. So we got 10 out the door and 10 got dropped off.
Wow.
So I'm through those now. I'm just a couple of loose ends, couple of them, like I had to ring the customers and give them the great news that, hey mate, I've pulled your transmission apart. Can you do me a favour? Grab the front of your crank and see if it moves forward and back. Why? I saw something in your transmission that probably would have blown your engine up. Yeah, we moved the crank and is it meant to have 3 mil of end flow?
Ooh.
No.
3 mil.
Yeah, well, if you don't know what you're doing with certain transmissions, you can destroy the guy's motor. And I've seen that a bit lately. I think because everyone's so busy that everyone's having a crack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, wow. But yeah, so I've finally caught up, and we've got a Mustang in there that we've been doing some work on. Beautiful 69. Not like an immaculate restored. This is just what I would call a survivor. It's just a nice, neat, old school, like 295, 265 type thing. That should be done hopefully tomorrow, and I can get back on the chassis shop. And yeah, I've still got a heap of transmissions to do, but we're waiting on parts from America for those. So yeah, it's just been work. Which, like I said, it's been good. I don't mind working at night because it's gotten a bit warmer. There was a while there that it was just impossible in that workshop to, even in my area, it was still just too cold. But you got to do what you got to do, and you got to, you know what they say, you got to make hay while the sun shines.
I've used that saying so many times last week.
Well, it's true,
I used it yesterday.
Yeah, I said to you on the phone, didn't I? As well, the other day.
Yeah, I used it yesterday as well. Are you doing some bonnet mods as well for someone?
I was, and I will be, but we had to take a different path with that project because the weather's been so bad. it's sketchy. If you don't want to damage the paint on someone's car and you want to pull a fiberglass mold off of it, doing it in cold weather can be tricky because you got to make what we call a hot mix. And I'm not a guru at it, so I'd rather wait till it's a little bit warmer so I can not get as greedy with the catalyst and take a bit of time for it to because if it gets too hot, it'll cook the paint under it and create all sorts of dramas. So that we had to give him back his bonnet. We've done part of it, so we've done the bonnet that's got to go on the car. We've done the mold of that, but now we've got to do a mold off another bonnet to incorporate the features that he wants. So the Dodge truck has moved along, so that's up to the steering column and seat side of it. I mean, we've always got plenty of projects on there. You know what it's like. And then you got the blow-ins as well. That it's like a quick day or 2 day job. We've done some crazy. So I'll give you a bit of a snapshot of some of the crazy transmissions that we've done. We've done a few more 2J, 1J style things. We do the Barra run-of-the-mill stuff, Barra Turbo LS stuff. But there's one that I've got on the bench now, which is Turbo 400 to BMW 135.
That's different.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool car. It is going to be a cool car. He's starting with a relatively mild motor, but where he eventually wants to go with it, it's,
Turbo 400 in a 135.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to be... Well, no, I'm confident it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got that going on, and we've got another one... it's even weirder than that. I'm trying to think of what it is now, the exact engine. But anyway, another Euro. And this is the argument that I've had with the boys for Street Machine for a while. You're going to see the Euro stuff.
Yeah, of course.
It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's because I think people like the LS thing is still strong. We definitely, that's our lion's share of what we do. But the people are looking at other things, and BMW in particular is one that lends itself quite easily. It's a rear-wheel drive platform.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing. So,
and you look at your Audi RS3s. Again, another listener of our podcast, slightly different, but
it's hard to get that because the thing with the Audi, I don't know if you guys know, but we've made weirdo adapters to go behind the...
I didn't. I'm interested about this because I know someone running an Audi at the moment.
Yeah, so we've
they're finding
made
the limits apparently.
We've made actually probably got a photo on my phone. An adapter to go behind a Bentley V12, which is basically an Audi.
Yeah.
So that platform, that W style engine, that goes right from the V6 all the way through to the motor in the Bugatti.
Oh, the
W16.
W16. And they share a lot of commonality in the way that they're structured. And the biggest problem with them in using them in a conventional application is that all the cam control stuff runs off the back of the motor. Huh. So when you try and get a conventional style transmission in there, and they did that for weight distribution on the front wheel drive cars, because even like your Bentley Continental, it's a V12, and it's out there because their platform is primarily a front wheel drive platform. If you look at the way it's structured, so to have all that weight, like an Audi S8 or RS8.
The RSs,
yeah, RS8. That's the one.
There was the RS3, which is the
it's a V8.
Oh no, there's the R8, which is mid-engined.
No,
there's the
That's a front wheel.
That's RS6.
The RS6.
Yeah.
Is that a V8?
Yeah, V8 twin turbo,
that's the one.
And the motor hangs out in a different postcode almost. Compared to the car.
That's it, right? So to try and help with that weight distribution, they've put as much as they can physically back on the engine.
Yeah.
So they carried that onto the Bentley as well. Same deal. So we've made adapters to allow us to make turbo 400s, 4L80s, stuff like that onto those types of engines, and they're very complicated. There you go. That's one there. You can see the depth of that.
Far out. Yeah.
That was made from a 1 foot thick piece of 7075 billet aluminium that we flew in from Sweden.
Sweet.
For those listening, I might actually, we might actually upload some of the stuff that Simon does one day to the Talking Power website.
Can't reach into the microphone.
Just because, I mean, I've said it before on air, I think. One of my favourite things is going and seeing Simon at the workshop when I have 5 minutes, because the amount of stuff that you just build and work on and design blows my mind. It always has, you know that. And I'm not winding everyone. I'm not talking you up. You're a mate of mine.
We had to. I didn't want to. I wanted to try and keep all the integrity of the bell housing on the Turbo 400. So we had to go that far back to get it past all the control stuff.
Far out.
So I mean, we're always doing strange stuff there.
You are always doing. There's always doing some good stuff there.
But we're flat out. I mean, everyone's flat out. I don't know anyone in the performance industry in anywhere. And on that note, big shout out to Gino Perry. Gino is back in Sydney. Yep. He has decided to open his own workshop.
Oh, congratulations, Gino.
In Motion Automotives. Yeah,
whereabouts in Sydney?
In the Northern Beaches near Manly there, I think it is.
All right.
Belmore?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's in
okay.
Belmore. I think it was
Nice guy, Gino.
Very, very nice guy, and I'm happy for him. I wish him all the best with the venture. I think he's going to do well. He's very hard work, always has been.
No, I think very highly of Gino.
And I believe his nephew won the Australian Championship in junior drag stuff.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He spent a lot of time out here in Western Australia, Gino.
Did many years.
Yeah. Did a stint at SCM as well. Yep. And I know he helped you out a fair bit as well. So
yeah,
great guy. Good guy.
Yeah, I got some photos of him asleep on the couch while I was working on his car before the Western Nationals, where we went our first round.
Yes.
But anyway,
I think I remember that event. But anyway, good on Gino. All right, well, look, that brings this episode to an end. We'll draw a close to this one here, and I've had a lot of fun in this episode. It's gone. I thought when I put the notes together, I thought, it's going to be we're going to be short of content here.
Not when you have me on.
We're going almost an hour and a half here, so that's good.
I even got all dressed up in nostalgia tonight, and there's no cameras.
No, I didn't bring the cameras tonight. Sorry, this is an off-camera podcast. All right, guys. Well, look, you can get us on 88.5 FM where the Valley comes alive, or iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, at talkingpower.com.au. And we are going to be at All Ford Day. Come and see us at All Ford Day.
I can't wait, Nick. I can't wait.
It's going to be good.
I just hope that it doesn't clash with my wife's.
October 3, so I don't know if you got the calendar there.
I've told her a few times, don't worry.
Okay, October 3. Anyway, we're going to be there. We've got a selection of cars there as well, so I know you're bringing the XY at the very least.
I want to try and bring the XY and the BA because I've been saying for years that I want to display the BA. It just comes down to whether I put the skateboard wheels on it or I put the real tyres back on it.
Okay, all right, well, that sounds exciting.
We should have a vote.
Well, it doesn't worry me what wheels you bring on it. I don't know if I'm bringing my car anymore. I don't think I will be. We've got a selection of cars. I don't really want to dampen the mood with mine there, so I might just leave mine at home.
It's a Survivor, Nick.
Yeah, I know, but I just think I'm going to leave it at home. But I know we've got some late model
it's
stuff.
It's not that. Tell the truth.
No,
Tell the truth.
I don't want to bring it.
It's not. He's lying. What he's concerned about is it leaks that much oil. Yeah. Right. That Swan District's over.
Yeah, I know. Swannies will certainly complain. But no, we've got a selection of late model stuff and old stuff, so I'm looking forward to it, actually. We've got some really good cars. So come and see us at I don't know what stand we are yet. We'll find out soon.
You worried about the EPA or the Swan River Authority?
Yeah, the Swan River Authority. The lake's not that, the river's not that far away.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But But yeah, come and see us there, and we're certainly looking forward to it and catching up with everyone on the all 4-day committee. So they're the committee that's made up of the Falcon GT Car Club of Western Australia and also the Mustang Owners Car Club of Western Australia. Some great guys there.
So they are Ace Ford Club still involved?
No, they'll have a stand there, however, but they're
Yep.
just the two clubs, the GT Car Club of Western Australia and Mustang Owners Car Club, that bring it together. And once again, hello to Jan Becker. I'm sure he'll be listening. Really appreciated the episode we did at his place. That was magnificent.
Mate, I am looking forward to that show like you wouldn't believe. I was spewing that I didn't get a chance to go last year when I was at...
Targa West.
But what's the oval called?
Langley Park.
Langley Park,
Yeah.
that's it, Langley Park.
So anyway, we'll be there, and I'm looking forward to it.
Did you guys know that Perth is the only capital city in the whole world where you can land a plane in the CBD?
Yeah, it's still what is it? It's a gazetted airway, isn't it? Still
Correct.
Yeah.
I reckon that Basil should bring back those air shows.
No, I think he wants to get rid of it, to be honest. He wants to turn Langley Park into a retail strip.
No.
Oh,
Sorry. No, I'm saying, Anthony, don't do it.
thank you for your vote.
No, that's,
No.
I thought you were going to say he's going to put a monument to Kerry Stokes there or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Or build a chairlift. He might build a chairlift that goes from Langley Park to Kings Park somehow. I don't know.
But yes, I did know that.
Because people from all around the world are going to come to ride our chairlift.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see our bell tower.
This is the thing, right? People from all around the world come to Exmouth to swim with the whale sharks.
Yep.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one gets it. The Northwest is where we should have a capital city. It should be like a massive city.
Yep. No, agreed.
Anyway.
All right, guys, on that note, we'll bring this one to an end. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time. Take care, guys.
Right.
See you, Nick.
See ya.
Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.